Chapter 83, Clash of Fates. The roars of the crowd were deafening, rolling like thunder through the open stadium. Thousands of spectators stood to their feet, eyes glued to the ring below. Even the air felt electrified as the announcer's voice cracked over the loudspeakers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the final match of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, Son Goku vs. Ma Jr. Daiko leaned forward in his seat, eyes narrowed beneath his hood. "That's no ordinary fighter," he muttered, voice low. "Piccolo," Zarek confirmed. "He's the offspring of King Piccolo. Reincarnated, technically. Reeks of demonic ki." Karo crossed his arms. "And the other one? Goku. I can't feel their exact power because of our suppression, but even still, he's special." Daiko's eyes sharpened as Goku stepped into the ring, older now than the child he once was, taller, more composed, wrapped in his iconic orange gi. Piccolo, in his violet Namekian robe, wore a tight expression. More than arrogance, it was focused fury. The bell rang. Round 1, shockwaves and silence. The clash was immediate. Goku vanished from sight. Piccolo barely deflected the blow that followed, skidding back with a crack beneath his feet. The air distorted from the sheer pressure of their movements. Spectators gasped. Ordinary eyes could barely keep up. "They're holding back," Karo noted, watching with analytical calm. "Both of them. But Goku's technique, it's flawless." "He learned from somewhere," Daiko said. "Not raw power, refined skill." From the stands, Daiko's group watched as the two exchanged a flurry of blows, ki blasts, and aerial maneuvers. When Piccolo unleashed his Hellzone grenade, trapping Goku in a spiraling vortex of energy orbs, the crowd screamed. Goku broke free in an explosion of speed, slamming Piccolo back down with a blow that cratered the ring. Zarek tilted his head. "He fights like a scion, but he's not quite. That's Earth influence." "Still," Daiko murmured, "he's got that spark. If he were in hell, he'd have thrived." Round 2, the demon awakens. Piccolo, bloodied and cornered, bared his fangs and transformed. His body grew larger, monstrous, his power erupting in a dark green flare. The crowd screamed in terror. "He's using the giant form," Zarek said flatly. "Classic Namekian biology." Goku dodged the colossal limbs like flowing water, launching counterattacks with pinpoint precision. A Kamehameha wave fired at point-blank range shattered part of the transformation, forcing Piccolo to revert, coughing blood. But Piccolo wasn't done. He launched a final desperate attack, a mouth blast capable of wiping out half the stadium. The beam fired. And vanished. Goku had appeared in front of Piccolo, tanking the hit directly. Only to reappear behind him and strike with enough force to render Piccolo unconscious. Silence. Then cheers erupted like a tidal wave. Aftermath medics rushed into the ring. Goku, arms limp at his side, smiled awkwardly as he collapsed. Chi-Chi ran to his side. Piccolo, defeated but alive, was left to his thoughts. Daiko exhaled, arms crossed. "Interesting," he said. Karo nodded. "We've been gone a long time, and the world kept spinning." Zarek stood. "We'll need to move soon. Before anyone starts sensing us again." The three vanished into the crowd like shadows. But Goku had seen them. As he was carried off the stage, his gaze drifted, briefly locking with Daiko's across the crowd. His eyes narrowed slightly, confused. "Recognition?" Daiko smiled and disappeared into the wind. Chapter 84. The gathering stormed the skies over Earth had calmed since the explosive final match of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. Though the crowd celebrated Son Goku's hard-earned victory and the promise of peace, deeper forces had begun to stir, echoes of an era long buried, now roused by the return of three warriors who did not belong. Far from the cities and villages, deep within a remote mountain range cloaked in mist and silence, Daiko, Karo, and Zarek stood within their stone-shelled hideout. The flickering firelight danced across the walls, casting long shadows as they meditated around it. "So he saw you," Karo said quietly, his eyes still closed. Daiko opened his own, one glowing faintly with inner ki. He noticed something. Not fully, but enough to be curious. Zarek stood, arms crossed. Then he'll come looking eventually. We'll be long gone before then, Daiko replied, rising to his feet. We didn't come here to get involved with Earth's current drama. Not yet. But we did come for a reason. He stepped toward a slab of stone embedded in the wall. An ancient Scion tech panel now long dormant. Daiko placed his palm against it. A flicker of red light surged through the veins of the stone. System link, stable. Tracing lost resonance. The entire chamber vibrated. A low-frequency hum echoed, not from the mountains, but from beneath the earth itself. Zarek's brow furrowed. That's not Scion tech. Karo's pupils sharpened. No. That's older. And it's moving. Elsewhere, the crimson storm returns in a submerged fortress off Earth's western archipelago, the waters churned crimson. Red mist stood within the core of his meditation chamber. His fingers tapped on an ancient, red-glowing interface built from scavenged Scion components and Namekian glyphs. Their signal is alive, he murmured. Hell didn't take them. So they've stepped into the mortal realm. He turned toward a stasis tank containing what looked like a faintly pulsing embryo. An artificial warrior. Then I will step forward too. The resurrection of the Crimson Depths begins now. He raised his hand, and the waters roared. Back at the mountain hideout system alert, traced signal match, Scion ancestral relay node. Location, West Continent subsurface fault. Locked beneath tectonic plates. Daiko's eyes lit up. That's it. Zarek glanced over. You sure it's not a trap? Even if it is, Karo said, stretching, what kind of warriors would we be if we avoided it? Daiko smirked. Exactly. We trained in hell for 18 years. Earth's secrets can't be deeper than that. Meanwhile, Goku's curiosity grows elsewhere. In a small village with a lake glimmering beneath the afternoon sun, Goku stood in front of his house, looking toward the western mountains. Chi-Chi leaned on the doorway. Still thinking about those guys? Goku nodded slowly. They didn't belong in that crowd. Their energy was different. Suppressed, but heavy. Like they were holding back something that doesn't belong here. He turned toward her and smiled faintly. I don't think they're enemies, but I think they've been through things I can't understand yet. Chi-Chi raised an eyebrow. That yet worries me. Yeah, Goku replied, watching the clouds. Me too. In the shadows of the earth as the group prepared to depart for the western continent, Daiko placed his hand on the cave's cold wall once more, letting the stone record their essence. If anyone follows us, he said, they'll find this mark. It means we're not running, we're just not ready to be found. With a final breath, the trio ascended skyward, vanishing into streaks of light across the blue horizon. But in the deepest depths of Earth, a presence waited, something ancient and untouched by time. Their journey in hell had prepared them for survival. Their time in the mortal realm would test their legacy. Chapter 85, Vault of the Crimson Echo. The journey to the western continent was swift, yet silent. The trio soared high above the clouds, suppressing their energy signatures to the barest whisper, each consumed by thoughts of what lay beneath the Earth's crust. Daiko led the flight, his senses hyper-focused. Karo followed slightly behind, one eye closed as he scanned for residual ki or danger. Zarek, as always, was rear guard, calm but watchful. They landed on a stretch of flat, lifeless stone near the base of a vast cliffside. Towering over them was an ancient, cracked mountain face. Faint lines, almost like veins, glowed along its surface. As Daiko stepped forward, the system chimed softly in his mind. System sync complete, Scion ancestral relay node accessed. Entry conditions, Scion DNA signature, confirmed power threshold, met mental conditioning, confirmed welcome, bloodbound of the ancestral line. The stone before them rumbled. Massive boulders split, revealing a downward spiral of black stone steps laced with faint crimson runes. Karo narrowed his eyes. That wasn't built by humans. No, Zarek said, inspecting a wall as they descended. This is Scion, but older than anything left from planet Vegeta. Pre-Empire. Maybe even from the Scion homeworld before Sadala. Daiko's hand traced the stone beside him. Then let's find out what they left behind. Deeper underground as they descended, torches flickered to life on their own. The air thickened, not with decay, but with history. Memories clung to the walls like ghosts. At the base of the spiral was a massive chamber. In its center floated a perfectly spherical crystal, pulsing slowly, as if breathing. System alert, Vault Echo identified. Echo? Caro asked aloud. The crystal surged, projecting holographic images around the room. Ancient Scion warriors training, meditating, and speaking in a guttural, long-forgotten tongue. Their movements were primal and elegant, a martial form long lost to time. Then, a massive figure appeared. Muscled. Scarred. Eyes like burning stars. Daiko stepped forward instinctively. Bardock, he whispered. But younger. The vision spoke, not in words, but in feeling. Memories surged into Daiko's mind. The ancient Scion wasn't just a warrior, he was a gatekeeper. One of a few chosen to lock away a volatile force discovered deep within the core of their ancient world, a key form known as the Crimson Echo, a harmonic resonance that amplified battle instinct and ki flow through emotional extremes. Bardock, in his youth, had bound it. And now, through blood, Daiko had been granted access. Challenge protocol initiated. Warning, initiation of Echo trial will trigger defensive simulation. Proceed? Daiko turned to the others. This is more than power. It's ancestral memory. Zarek's lips curled into a smirk. Another test. Of course it is. Caro nodded. Let's do this. The chamber roared to life. 3 crimson silhouettes materialized before them, warrior echoes forged from their own bloodline resonance. Each was a mirrored avatar of themselves at their most volatile, reckless, angry, and wild. Daiko's echo charged first, fists burning with red heat. He countered, sliding under the strike, planting a sharp uppercut into the echo's ribs. The copy stumbled, but retaliated with a shockwave of ki that blasted Daiko back. Across the room, Caro dodged precise sniping energy blasts from his own echo, the shots faster than lightning. He ducked, weaved, and finally retaliated with a controlled burst of cerulean red-eye precision, landing a crippling shot to the echo's shoulder. Zarek, meanwhile, matched brute force with brute force. His Majin-imbued body shimmered with ki elasticity, absorbing blows and returning them with heavy kinetic force. The battle lasted over 10 minutes, fast, brutal, and strategic. Daiko's heart pounded as his fist collided with his echo's jaw, finally dispersing the energy construct into motes of light. Caro fired a twin spiral shot through his copy's core. Zarek crushed his with a full-body slam, dissipating the energy. Silence fell. Then the chamber lit up. Trial complete. Crimson Echo unlocked. New skill gained, Echo Infusion, channel residual ancestral ki to amplify attacks for 30 seconds. Boosts physical power and reaction speed. Moderate stamina cost. Skill Mastery, 0%. Daiko felt it, the hum of new energy now fused into his bones. Not raw power, but clarity, connection. A song that only Scion blood could hear. Elsewhere, Red Mist's fury far beneath the ocean floor, Red Mist convulsed. They've touched the vault. He stared into a vision. Daiko standing where Bardock once did. Bloodlines always betray. With a single gesture, Red Mist activated a long dormant relay hidden beneath Earth's crust. Project Ashwake initiated. And with that, the countdown began. Chapter 86, Ashwake Rising. The vault chamber's glow dimmed behind them as Daiko, Caro, and Zarek emerged into the fading twilight. Their bodies bore small bruises and burns, nothing compared to the damage their minds were processing. The Echo trial had not only tested their strength, but awakened something ancient and dangerous. They didn't speak as they left the cavern, each lost in silent reflection. But far beneath their feet, a new rhythm had begun. Beneath the crust, red mists command the dark oceans churned. In his submerged citadel, Red Mist stood at the center of a colossal, circular control room filled with ancient scion tech fused with Frisia force machinery. Conduits pulsed like veins. Screens projected holograms of seismic signatures across Earth's tectonic plates. Project Ashwake, 48 hours to activation. Red Mist's crimson eyes glowed brighter. Let them savor their breath. Soon, their sanctuary will become their tomb. He raised a hand. Deploy the first probe. Let's give them a taste of extinction. Mountaintop, Earth's surface. The trio had moved to higher ground, setting camp beneath a starlit sky. A small fire crackled at the center. Despite their suppressed power, the very air trembled faintly around them, traces of their echo-infused key still lingering. Daiko stood at the edge of the cliff, watching the moon rise. His tail swayed with unease. We've touched something sacred, he muttered. Caro looked up. You think it was meant to be locked away? Zarek grunted. If it was, we already broke the seal. Caro turned to Daiko. You heard Bardock's echo. That was your uncle, wasn't it? Daiko hesitated. Yeah. I didn't know until then. But the feeling, it was like he wanted me to use the echo. Not just inherit it. That's the Scion way, Zarek said. Push forward. Burn brighter. Break limits. Even if it kills you. System notification, warning tectonic irregularity detected seismic signature, unknown energy source awakening estimated impact zone, northern continent, 47 hours. The fire hissed as the wind grew colder. What now? Caro asked. We get ahead of it, Daiko said, eyes narrowing. Let's find this energy source before it finds us. Fracture zone, next day. Traveling at full suppressed speed, it took them hours to reach the outskirts of the projected anomaly. What they found was devastation. A crater stretched nearly 2 miles across, fresh, steaming, and ringed with scorched rock. At its center, a glowing red spike jutted from the earth like a bone pierced through skin. It pulsed rhythmically, sending low tremors into the air. Caro examined it from a distance, eyes narrowing. It's not natural. Zarek touched the ground. I can feel it feeding off the planet's core, accelerating something. Suddenly, the air shimmered. The spike's glow flared, and humanoid forms began to emerge from the surrounding shadows. Twisted constructs made of rock, metal, and synthetic flesh, golems formed by Ashwake's awakening. Daiko stepped forward. Looks like Red Mist didn't waste any time. The golems charged. Combat Ashborn constructs. Zarek surged first, smashing the nearest golem into rubble with a spinning elbow. Caro used precision key blasts to snipe weak points in their armor, his cerulean eye glowing faintly. Daiko fought in complete silence, weaving between strikes, his fists infused with a faint red shimmer, echo infusion activating. Each strike shattered bone-like plating. His movements were tighter, more fluid, less like a warrior, more like a conductor guiding a deadly rhythm. One golem exploded in his face, releasing an acidic mist. Daiko recoiled, coughing, but recovered fast, slamming both palms into the ground and releasing a key pulse that knocked the enemies back. Zarek grinned. These things can't adapt. They're strong, but dumb. Still, Caro muttered, they're just the first wave. System log, post-battle updates. Daiko, Echo Infusion, Beginner, 5%, plus 5%. Basic Key Blast, Intermediate, 63%, plus 3%. Auto Key Recovery, Intermediate, 31%, plus 4%. Caro. Sniper Key Shot, Intermediate, 58%, plus 4%. Key Sense, Intermediate, 41%, plus 3%. Reflex Pulse, Beginner, 6%, plus 6%. Zarek, Power Slam, Intermediate, 55%, plus 3%. Energy Shield, Beginner, 9%, plus 4%. Magen Flex, Intermediate, 43%, plus 3%. Back at the Citadel, Red Mist watched the data stream in. They survived. He turned toward a darkened chamber. Within it, something shifted, breathing slowly. Then let them meet their ancestors' mistakes face to face. Activate Vault Node 2. Let them remember why the Scions fell.